Hello. So, you two, why don't you give me investigation checks, or one of you give the other advantage? Because you're basically going through his desk, going through his old area, looking for things.
I'm gonna give you advantage because I assume you're smarter than me.
No. I have 0. You.
Oh, okay.
I will be giving
No one
you
wants to
advantage.
be the one to be blamed when it rolls 2 nat 1.
Yeah, that's true.
We could just both roll. It's up to you.
No, let's.
Same. We're rolling 2 die, but you have a slightly better chance. So
okay, look, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Advantage and investigation. Ooh!
Hey! Actually, a good roll.
Yay!
You go over the desk. And first of all, you already looked at this. First of all, you go over the booth itself. Actually, there are little hidden compartments in the walls. None of them have anything of interest in. But they're just clearly, it's been built with this design in mind, right? This was built to order. When you go back over the desk again, you actually find that there's a button you can press in the one drawer that unlocks hidden drawers on the side. But before you go and open it up, you sort of just feel very genuinely uneasy, and you actually manage to work out, through a little bit of magic of your own, that the one of them is open. You're fine. The other one, even though you unlocked it, and it kind of like pops the seal a little bit so you can see where it is magically warded.
Ooh. Brute. Found something. It won't open.
I'm
it won't open.
gonna look at it, but I'm gonna tell you right now I cannot do anything about that. Yeah, like I can't do anything about that. In terms of the structure of the desk, where does it look like this compartment goes?
Okay.
In the desk. You know, it's a table. So it kind of looks like there would be 3 avenues of drawers, basically.
How thick is the desk?
Very thick. It's very well made.
Damn it.
Now, that being said, it's been damaged, right?
Superficially.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Okay. If you have an idea, it's probably better than my idea. So
There's 3 drawers. Which of the 3 drawers is the one that
is the one on it's the right side. If you were smoke,
Yep.
middle one opens all the time. Button it,
Yep.
unlock the left one, and the right one. But the right one is warded.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out all the drawers, like the other 2 drawers, completely.
They aren't designed to do that. Which means you're going to need to give me a strength.
Okay.
would you rather me do that?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
If they don't come easily, though, I'm willing to unarmed strike them to try and break them off.
It's kind of how efficiently you do this. It's one of those reasons where because sometimes with these kind of drawer things, you can just pull the whole drawer out. This one's actually designed very well made because it's got hidden compartments and things to, lock up if trying to be like you try to wrench it apart. You guys take a bit of time of like jimmying it and shimmying it and trying to like angle things and like putting something in the mechanism and pull the other 2 out. Where you can see the 3rd warded drawer still in there.
Okay.
And does it appear to be warded all the way around?
Arcana check.
Poke it with the dagger.
Okay.
Because you actually you really just you can both tell it's warded, but more because you can essentially feel the magic of it.
Tough to
which honestly, from your past experience, Barut and Varric, because you're the 2 people who would have the past experience kind of thing, people do that. You can actually basically hide magical effects unless you're looking for them, right? But people leave this kind of aura of magic when it's kind of like, no, you don't go in there. Don't even try it. So.
You know what? I wonder if I can go find someone to pay to dispel this. I'm going to turn to Brute and say that.
I mean, if you want to try, I can sit here and keep watch on it just in case someone in here randomly has the ability to do that and just has decided that they want to do this before we do.
Because the thing that I'm worried about is not that we can't get it open. I think we can definitely get it open eventually. I'm worried that if we do, it destroys what's inside.
And that's very much what I'm worried about as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm going to go... you know what? I'm actually going to go talk to the Grogger people and see if they know anyone that might...
See if they've got, like, a town
locksmith,
mage, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to them and ask them if there's, like, do you have anything that can dispel a lock or, like, a seal on something that might destroy what's inside, or that sort of thing?
It's one of the things where, like, you go there and in the Clan Grogger, like, room filled with forges, and it's just one of the sons of the chief, you know, who turns and, like, strokes his beard and says, "Well, for that kind of magic thing, usually go to Smart Mantle. She's the one who deals with this sort of stuff. I actually bet your bottom gold that already she probably, if it was in this town, she probably locked it in the first place."
Okay, perfect. Where do I go for that? And I'm going to get directions.
Yeah, right now, around there. And,
Yeah. And then I'm going to...
You actually end up going down the hill quite a bit to a little building that, if it was on a main street, Barut probably would have found already. Because it's a little kind of... almost a shop front with books and a couple of potions, and it smells like Barut in here. It smells of old pages and incense.
It's a good thing I went, or Barut would never leave.
When you open the door, there's a little jangling of a couple of like animal bones that kind of make a little bell when you come in, and you look around, and a beautiful human woman just sort of appears in the room. As long as you're looking around, and when you like kind of turn around, she's there. She is gorgeous. I mean, even Virik, who has his own standards of beauty, this woman with like a straight black hair, she has got the rite of passage, like tattoo of "I am an adult," and then a couple of other ones that you don't know the meaning of, but they're not. Some of the Northmen, the tattoos are kind of like obstruct the face a bit. The other ones kind of come down here, wearing a very flattering dress, and she kind of like purrs when you come in. It says, well, what do we have here? What are you doing me the pleasure of? Why are you here?
Hi. So Smart Mental, I imagine?
That is I.
Perfect. We have a sealed drawer that we would like to have opened. If that's something you can do, I imagine it's something you can do.
Magical seal.
Yes.
All right, and she kind of like will pull like a cloak, like a furred cloak, and sort of wrap it around her from one of the walls and say, "Lead me, show me."
Oh, this way, and I'll lead her through town towards
town, back to the House of Smoke Glass. She'll come in. She'll walk up. You notice some of the workmen are a little distracted by her. Clearly, she is, you know, the woman in town that some of the husbands get in trouble for looking at. And she'll come up, and almost like before you get to like the desk where it's kind of like up in the balcony, kind of like leant up against the wall. She's like, I remember this. So that it's true. The gnome's dead.
Yes. Monstrous people get monstrous results.
Well, I could definitely unlock that for you, but there is a price.
Of course. Name it.
A kiss.
Okay. Varric is like, okay. Probably better to do that up out of the sight of people, though. You'll understand when I take off the mask.
Oh, will I? Luckily, you just found out about the fire escape, so...
Yeah. Varric has like no idea. Like he's like, I don't know what is. Oh god, I'd say he might even be mumbling that too, Brute.
Yeah, she like walks by, goes down go a bit down the fire escape, and she'll just kind of watch you, waiting for you to take off the mask.
Do I sense anything off of her? Do I sense like any danger? Can I like? I'm asking. Does she appear like she's?
Do you want an insight check?
Yeah.
Varric wouldn't do it, so yeah, I'm glad you're doing it. Varric immediately was just, and he's off guard. That's it. Full stop. That was not how I was expecting this to go. Oh no.
She's pretty pretty, you know. She's an attractive lady.
So yeah, that Varric will just say, okay, I think he's gonna take off the mask.
Some people, when you've taken off a mask, clearly don't know that you are a drow. They either don't understand and don't care, you know? She clearly, like, you see like a sparkle of her eyes in the dark, and you see even clearer because you can see very well in the dark. And she just kind of smiles a little bit more, but doesn't say anything.
There would be a long, awkward pause where Varric would have no idea what to do.
And she absolutely is just waiting.
Yep.
So,
which is part of the
at this
fun.
Point, is still looking at the drawer, but then he's kind of going to look up because, like, I imagine that's why he didn't really pick up on the fact that she's maybe weird.
I went to get someone, and then we just walked past you out a door.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Eric? Varric, what are you? The drawer's right here. What are you doing over there, Varric?
And that would be when he's like, oh, okay, and then he would kiss her.
Good. And then when she'll sort of step back and she'll smile, she'll kind of purr a little bit more, and then sort of just turn, walk out, go to the chest of drawers.
Will just stand there while she like walks out.
She will actually sit on Barut's lap, because Barut, I imagine, was sitting there doing it, and just sit on him and kind of pull from the pockets of her dress some seems to be bone dust in little packets, and kind
of mutters. For you.
Yes.
What color is her hair?
Black.
He's fine. Continue.
I wasn't so mean as to go do the old make the elf sad trick.
Well, you know.
And sort of springs it around, mutters some arcane words that come very low from her throat, and then you hear, and the chest of drawers opens, and then she sits up. She actually kind of like ruffles Barut's like little tufts of hair for a bit, and then says, "If either of you need anything else, you know where to find me."
Barut has not been introduced to her yet at this point. She just sat down on his lap, and he has had no idea what's happening basically this whole time. So he, after she stands up, is going to stand up and say, "My name is Barut Veneran. It's very nice to meet you. And you are..."
Oh no, it's less fun when you tell me your names. And then she'll just turn and start walking away.
Varric, what is her name?
Varric's just like lean out the doorway.
Varric.
A little bit of lipstick on his lips.
Barut's gonna smack him upside the back of the head. Pay attention. What is her name?
Smart Mantle.
Thank you. And he's gonna let you go back to your gawking, and he's gonna go down to the drawer and look in the drawer.
not cleaning his face or anything. He's gonna put the mask back on.
Inside that drawer is a very neat little notebook, ring bound with metal rings. And when you open it, it is very clearly a planner of schedulings, of meetings, seemingly personal. It's actually, when you look at it, probably half of it's written by Smoke himself and half of it was written by Kavara. Most of it is in Gnomish, so I don't think you can read it. But Gnomish is definitely one of those languages where it's got just a completely different script. You can tell it's Gnomish. You've seen Gnomish before, but you can't...
No, can't parse it.
Write it.
Yeah. Well, that's next on my list. Now, I'm gonna turn to Varric and ask: do you know if there's any bookstores in town that might sell language books, specifically Gnomish? This appears to be in Gnomish. All right. How? What happened?
Her payment was a kiss.
Ah. Ah. Well, that
Is this
explains
normal?
it.
Does this happen much?
Oh,
This is new.
that's very interesting. Now, why a kiss? That's very interesting. And you, right away, very smitten. Oh, Burrott's gonna whisper a little bit with this. Like he's gonna be quiet. This is like real quiet. This is like the
I'm imagining it's quiet, but kind of still laughing to himself.
yeah. Was this your first kiss? And I'm gonna just clasp you on the shoulder with that and say, "Oh, Virik, I'm so proud of you. All right." And then I'm gonna pull out the Crimson Mountain whiskey out of my bag and put it down on the table and just untwist it. And I'm gonna
sit down
fall down and
somewhere.
I'm just gonna say, "Can we have 2 glasses up here, please?"
We're closed, you know.
I know. I'll clean them myself. Just.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I'm gonna once they bring glass, I'm gonna pour the glasses for both of us, and I'm just gonna say, "And cheers to you, Virik," and take a big drink of whiskey.
And Virik will drink as well.
Yeah. And at that point, like I imagine the whiskey is his attempt also to kind of get you to come to your senses a little bit and just
Yeah, that would wake him
like-
up a bit more.
yeah. So, Gnomish, I need to speak it, which means I need to find a book that will teach me how to learn Gnomish.
I can't. How did you describe Smart Mental's shop again? Because I realized I didn't. That
Kind
didn't
of looked like a little, you know, like a little, like corner nook of a building that had like books and potions and things and
Yeah, so
kind of like a tat, like you know, like a tat shop. Like it's just got like random stuff there, but in a world of magic where there's actually probably a chance that some of those things are useful. Like if you wanted to get like magical components. This is where you'd go, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Smart Mental shop had books, but I imagine they're more magical stuff than what we want. I don't know if there's another bookstore. We could ask if there's another bookstore.
Well, also, are you ready to see her so soon?
That's up for someone else.
Bro's gonna ask for directions to that shop though, as well from
I
Virik.
will give
Yeah,
directions to the shop.
Because I will probably go there at some point just to refill magical components and things at some point before I leave, because I don't have any kind of weird attachment, so I'm fine to do that. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some magical component to what she's doing, but not that I was aware of. So in that case, Ollie, is there any shop in town that I could buy language books at? And I understand it would be very difficult for me to learn a language by book alone, but
I would give you a penalty to it.
Yeah.
Especially because basically you're already teaching Virik a language, so it would be after that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
because of this town, yes, you could buy a bit of a Gnomish to common translation talk kind of book.
mostly what I need is translation tools. Like I don't need to know the language fully. Mostly what I'm trying to do is get enough to be able to parse the book and any code that he might have put any of the language in.
Exactly. Basically, the kind of book that would be in this sort of area, because there are gnomes in this town where it's probably gnomish to common.
Yeah.
But you're smart enough to,
I can go
both ways.
Yeah.
That would cost. Check the numbers. Give me a moment to check the numbers. Ooh, ooh,
All right.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
While you're checking numbers, is it 20% of our cut to the Grey Fist?
Yes.
Okay, so then on that 2,000, we'd reduce that by 20%, which would be 200 gold. Or no, 400 gold, pardon me.
Mm-hmm. That's a valid point.
So 1,600 plus the 500 that we looted. But then we could divide that 2,100 by the 4 of us, leaving whatever's left in the group pack. So I don't know. My brain's not doing math right now. But
Yeah, that's fine. Who needs brain?
My
Yeah.
brain never does math.
it would be 525, I think, for each of us. But is that right? Yeah. Yes.
I mean, do I actually need to get a calculator?
no,
out?
no, it's 525. It's 525 for each of us between the 2,100.
Okay.
But I need to get a calculator because I have a weird number of gold right now.
Yeah, so that book will just be 100 gold. So I've been
Okay,
looking around
cool.
for so long. But it's one of those things, if you want to learn Gnomish fully, you'll probably need a trainer as well. But just to translate this book over time, over like times where you're not sleeping, because elves don't sleep, is totally fine.
Cool. That's going to be the plan then.
All right.
And I will purchase that.
Cool. What else do you guys want to do in town before you leave?
Well, as I said, I'd restock magical components as well.
Very much when you go there, she will ask where your dark-skinned friend is.
And I will gladly tell her that he is currently a little bit nervous to come talk to her, but he will before we leave, I'm sure. I'm sure she'll be very disappointed that he's not around the corner, but
You very much don't see any kind of disappointment on her face. She's just
okay.
very amused by the whole situation.
Right. I actually would ask her, what is the standard cost for unlocking a warded drawer?
Well, with the years of this kind of magic, there's nothing standard about anything I have to do.
No, of course.
And as the only real master of magic in the town, especially now that that gnome has gone the way of the dodos, then... Although dodos probably still exist in this setting.
Yeah.
I had the pause where I was like, can I think of a better analogy? No. Okay. And then...
the way of the sun elves.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon, sorry.
Not yet. Check back in 100 years.
Yeah.
Oof.
I can charge whatever I want.
Oh, of course.
Why, are
But
you
that's not
jealous?
really what I'm asking. No, absolutely not. I'm actually very happy for him. I'm sure you could tell, but it was his first kiss. And
Usually the
was-
mysterious masked man type has had a lot more kisses under their belt.
he hasn't been here that long. So,
Probably took him a long time to get here from where he was.
I imagine so. I haven't asked him the particulars of his travel, though I do intend to at one point. Perhaps when we are traveling in the future.
I would be very interested to find out one day, but you are travelers and you have places to go, I'm sure. But next time you're back in town, I'll make
Well,
it
you
worth your
may be
while.
able to read about it. I am writing histories, and if he allows me, I will be writing his as well.
It's like one of those things where, like, clearly she's kind of joking, acting, but that very much does, like, genuinely interest her. Which she actually shuts her up.
And then I'll ask, now if we were to come back and we needed, say, another warded drawer unlocked, I imagine it wouldn't be so simple as a kiss from my masked friend.
Depends. Depends on the day, depends on the mood, depends on how big the drawer is.
Now that was actually a point I wanted to ask. Does the size of the drawer actually affect the warding of it?
Some people say differently, but I find size does matter.
Very interesting. See, I've heard very mixed reviews on that, but in terms of the actual structure, I think it's the weight and the girth as much as it is of the drawer.
You know, it's one of those things where, like, she clearly is, like, a little disappointed that you deflect that so much.
See, it wasn't a deflection. It was
I know,
Yeah.
but to her, she's just like, oh, okay.
and then he's going to continue on that point for
She will
probably a moment
actually,
too long.
when you're done. And she'll wait until you stop speaking, which might be a while. She'll actually kind of motion and say, considering you're travelers and you're coated in weaponry and scars, I imagine you have need for potions to heal the wounds?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I was told of an alchemist in town as well, and I was going to consider going there, but if you have them...
More
then
of a
happy to
herbalist, and I work with her occasionally because easier. But if you will need potions of healing, depending on where you're going, what you're doing, she'll kind of show you a couple of potions that she has here of use. Regular potions of healing, potions of climbing, and potions of water breathing that she has. And when it's climbing and water breathing, she has like 4 potions of climbing and like 1 potion of water breathing.
Okay, how much is the potion of water breathing?
That's a good question.
Because I am going to buy that because we're going over ice, and one of us is going to be an idiot. Probably one of us in heavy armor is going to be an idiot. Most likely me. So, you know, it's if the past has taught us anything.
Exactly, right?
I love how your descriptors just narrowed it down, eliminating one person at a time until it was very.
It was just very clearly Barut. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? The potion of water breathing is 150 gold.
And how much are the health potions?
Health potions are 50 gold, but she's willing to go down in the price if maybe you bring your friend around.
So it was 150 for the potion of water breathing.
Yep.
Okay. And then 50 apiece for the others.
Yep. And
For
potions of climbing are 75 each.
I am not going to buy any potions of climbing. I will leave that up to others. I will go back and
say, hey, there's potions of climbing.
There's potions of climbing.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy 2 potions of healing, and I'm going to buy them at full price, but I will say if I can bring Virik back, you can perhaps give us a discount on the next ones that we purchase.
You're no fun.
And so that, come on, stupid thing. Yeah, I will go back at that point. I have nothing else to say.
Barut comes back with a jangling bag of potions.
Yeah.
Clink, 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 clink.
Yeah. And I'll say, Smart Mantle also has potions of climbing if anybody is interested, and also more potions of healing. And Virik, by the way, she did say that she would give you a discount, but you'll need to go back there yourself.
It should take a second, then it's going to go... As it like clicks.
At that point, Cherubin, we're like, Virik has a girlfriend.
And Burrowit's just gonna be nodding.
And
like,
she just kind of she claps excitedly and says, love is in the air.
And Burrowit's gonna pat you on the shoulder again, Virik, and just...
Also, decidedly, Kavera, like, drinks much more heavily, like, whenever she's drinking.
Aww.
I mean, if Virik's going back, I'm gonna go with you because I would also like to buy some health potions.
Yeah, I like those 2 that I bought. I was gonna give to people other than myself, actually, because I don't like. I have my own healing, and if I go down, I need someone else to have the healing potions.
You want me to put them in the party loot? Is what you're saying?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I mean, Virik would have to drink a bit, but then he might go back.
So next up is Virik and Tobias going there. Tobias, this place is like whenever you have to go to like the town herbalist to like pick up a salve for Granny.
Yeah.
It's like the fantasy version of like a medical smell. It's just like incense and bone dust and stuff.
Just looking like, oh man, it smells like a hospital in here. Just like smoking.
She very much like just like appears and is smiles very widely. Says, "You brought a friend."
Yes. Hi. This is Tobias. Tobias. This is Smart Mantle. Like not moving, just like, like very, very stiffly,
Just, like,
not knowing how
looking
to
around, like touching stuff. Like, yeah, I need health potions. I heard you were selling them.
Yes. I don't know why I love this image in my mind of you just being like just a mess. Yeah.
The person like picks something off one shelf, puts it on another, and
Midway between going to
just
pick up
like-
something else, like finger is definitely in nose, like
Yeah, like takes the potion off, opens it up, smells it. Oh, that's not it.
She'll happily sell you potions of healing for 50 gold each.
Perfect.
The ones here, they're very much. I think the last ones you got were probably from the Elven lands. These are very much like a herbalist concoction of good old blue lady. It's kind of that tealish, bluish green. It's thick. It's gonna take a significant mental effort to swallow the thing.
I will take 2.
I will also buy 2.
At that point, she's out of them, and for you, they're 40 gold each. And she does say,
Okay.
"It seems unfair to take your money, but I do have costs to pay." And it's definitely one of the things when you like hand it over, like her hand like lingers on yours and stuff, like just very touchy feely because definitely she enjoys how awkward it makes you.
Viric's just like standing there.
Does anything
silent
else
for a
here
bit.
take your fancy, Viric?
I feel like I'm definitely gonna notice this like interaction now, and I'm just gonna like you see a huge like grin on Tobias' face. He's just like, oh, like I understand now what's happening. Just like, well,
Good, because Viric still doesn't.
I'm like, well, I don't imagine you sell crossbow bolts here, so I'm gonna get onto the blacksmith, but don't. Take your time, Viric. I'm sure there's lots that you could learn in a place like this.
You're gonna see like a look of panic in Viric's eyes as you like go to leave.
Like, no, don't leave.
Actually, I will turn around before I leave. How much was the potion of climbing?
75 gold.
I'll take one of those as well.
They're good. They're like insurance.
Yeah,
That's what the potion of water breathing is.
Yeah, literally, yeah. This is basically a fantasy insurance stuff.
It is, yeah.
Although in Bastilian, insurance definitely exists regularly, so...
does it cover acts of God?
Oh gosh.
But yeah, and then I'm gonna leave, and I am actually gonna go buy crossbow bolts as well.
Oh man, I imagine you made that joke and I'm like, oh, I actually do need. Like, well,
I'm like, yeah, you know, now that I look at it, I could use some more for. Yeah, so I am gonna actually go buy some crossbow
that's
bolts. As
great. Awesome. Do you buy anything else, Viric, or do we cut? And who knows what happens?
No, I don't think we're gonna buy anything else. So I think they cut with him like, do you want to try some dark elf wine?
Ooh,
Boy's got moves.
that's a good
It's all he
move.
knows is drink, 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 drink.
The next morning is kind of when you were planning on leaving. Does Viric come back to the tavern?
He would try and come back in stealthily.
As in not at the time
Stealth
we
with
expected you.
disadvantage because you probably drank quite a bit.
Yep, probably. I like this.
Bruit, I want to point out at this point when he's coming back is probably just sitting up at the table waiting. Just, like I want to point out, I'm sitting right.
And
now.
I'm not even gonna roll, like, because Viric would not like. If Viric wouldn't think of that, Viric is gonna stealthily like crawl in the front door and then just.
I'd also add Cherubin tried to do the same move, but she is asleep on the table beside her. She
Did you
tried.
have a nice time?
Shut up.
Lipstick on the mask.
Not a word.
Thank you.
He's just gonna write some stuff down.
Not a word. This is going in the book. Fuck.
Oh,
this is going in the
book. This is gonna be a great chapter. Oh
The
boy.
blossoming of Viric. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you've taken time to recover and go over the alcohol and wake up the tieflings and the humans, time to leave. Time to head south over the great ice wastes towards Bastilian. When you start heading out, of course, you have Tobias leading you most of the time, and this is the kind of thing he's good at. Linda is.
I would note that I would, because I still have that hole in my armor. I would have the What? You have mending. Oh, perfect! Problem solved. Ignore me. I was going to say I have like the fine shirt on underneath.
Good.
That works.
I would have been doing this over the course of the few days
Yes,
that we were
exactly,
sticking around. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I
Never
should have
mind, that's
mentioned
great.
that. I was going to mention it at the start of the session, but I forgot.
That's perfect. Never mind then.
It's one of the things. Lendir is on a hill, and when you get down, it's much more the same sort of terrain you've been used to for most of this area, most of the places you've traveled. It's rocky, it's snowy, it's summer, it's great. It's not that cold. The two elves are like,
Doing okay.
you're doing fine.
Doing okay.
But then when you start getting further south, past the first couple of days, and camping with these two is very different. You actually travel a lot slower than you expect. Kavara's actually not got that much of a problem. Cherubin, tiny little stumpy little legs, complains quite a bit. She will like hold on to like Barut's arm and like lean on him and slow him down, and he's slow anyway. Like, it's a whole mess.
I'm trying to write.
Trying to write. She's trying to ask what you're writing because you're writing in Elvish, and
Yeah.
And Virik's trying to ask how to speak giant still, so he's interrupting with that as well.
You're not traveling very fast.
I'm having a real tough go of it, huh?
do want you to give me a survival roll, Josiah.
Sure. There it is. A nice 7.
That's actually brilliant because that's kind of represents how slow you have to travel because you're traveling with these idiots. It's one of those things where Tobias is like, if I was on my own, maybe me and Eleanor and Virik could like skid away, but like these guys are slowing you down. But like, it's also, you aren't in a rush. Your priority is their safety, especially when you're dealing with two people who are essentially innocents, right? You very much focus their safety. You slow down. You like go hunting. You make sure every camp is as safe as possible. Do any of you have tents?
Yes.
Don't they? Oh, you do. Nice.
No.
I would say that Cherubin would have bought a tent for the travel. That she would usually ask Barut to stay in her with. Her argument is usually to protect me just in case. And, you know.
Yeah, sure.
You gotta do what the lady says.
Hey,
right?
At least
you know,
once
you
during
would be
this trip.
completely oblivious to it anyways. So
At least once during this trip, I'm gonna shake the tent. But just like in the middle of the night when I'm on watch, just
you might have a long sword coming out the tent then.
well, no, if someone comes out of the tent, I'm just like laying in my bedroll asleep.
Yeah.
You're just fucking with him. Okay, fair.
Even if it is cold, Virik might actually prefer to sleep with like his new thick winter cloak over him because it's white to sort of like
Yeah.
blend it in.
A little bit of lack of comfort, but just in case, even if you're under attack, like you can. Yeah, I get that, especially considering you're always aware when you're trancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slow journey. You got to protect these people. You've got lots of questions being asked. Kavara never really becomes much more talkative, but if you ever like ask her about anything, she is more likely to respond as like the week goes by where you don't really travel very far at all. Cherubin is the opposite. She doesn't really ever shut up. She'll like you're trying to hunt, and she's like, "What is that? What is that thing over there?" And like spoil like your arrow shot and stuff like that. She's very useful.
Virik would actually talk to Kavara, but not in ways that she has to respond. Just whenever he can, just like a little conversation or comment or just general sort of conversation, but deliberately in a way that she wouldn't think she had to respond.
And it's
so
one of
that she
those
doesn't
things
have that.
you can tell she's very much appreciative of it. Whereas Cherubin is staying very close to Barut, Kavara more often than not is more close to Virik, but not in the same way. Just in a more attached to you.
The thing is, Barut is also going to be telling her stories the whole time of various things that he's written about at this point, because he's picked up quite a lot of historical things along the way, as well as just, again, giving her things, because she mentioned she was interested in stories, so making sure she feels comfortable and at home. And this is especially at night when we're kind of settling down.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for as far as as far as Cherubin goes, I'm mostly just going to be trying to keep her distracted so Tobias can do his job. And like, bro, even though he talks a lot, he's aware that this is a lot. This is a lot, and he's just going to keep her distracted because he knows he can keep up, but Tobias
like
cannot.
Very much like lining up like a crossbow shot or something, hunting, and it like misses. And she's like, "Oh, you missed it," and he's just like, And then she like turns around and she just looks at Barut and he's like,
yeah. At this point, Barut's like, I'll deal with it. It's okay. I'll deal with it. And I'll try and keep her distracted for the rest of the trip so that hopefully like I'm the only one being slowed by them as much as possible so we can actually do something with this travel.
Exactly. Why don't you give me another survival roll, Tobias?
Why don't I? Huzzah.
Don't be a one, don't yay.
That's much. So, Barut's plan works pretty well. Keeping her distracted. There's many nights where she actually teaches you how to play Call of the Mountain God. Which keeps her very well distracted because she has to use all her brain power in concentrating. She,
I love the game too.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay,
You
I thought
don't
you
have
froze
your own.
there.
That was just me processing.
Little real life.
Loading Ollie bar there.
Yeah.
It's while you're traveling,
my own.
and this is the second week of travel. You've already traveled a week for Virik, who is paying attention to the weeks. It's in the second week of travel. The terrain very much changes. For some of when you were leaving Lendir, it was rocky and snowy, and then you just started getting out into this great ice flats. Now, it's not without animals, it's not without vegetation, but it's definitely a much more desolate terrain. Tobias, you're a ranger, but you do struggle to find food every day. You do it, but you do struggle as much more of a definite effort. You're very conscious of the ice beneath you and what might be beneath the ice. It's definitely one of those things where like you can hear the crunching of footsteps on the bare ice. Usually there's snow. Sometimes you just hear that like horrible creaking noise a lot of ice does.
Yeah.
That's just incredibly unsettling, and most of the time it's still. When you get far enough out during this week, it's just white in every direction. There's no markers, there's no mountains, the clouds usually cover the sky in such a way that there's no stars a lot of the night as well. It's just not much at all.
I feel like we're very much just using like the dim light of the sun to navigate by this point.
Yes.
Like it's the only landmark in any direction.
Virik could be trying to keep his like cool for the sake of the two people we're escorting, but he does not like this. Grew up in caves to nothing.
It's like the opposite. Yeah. There are occasionally little landmarks of like ruins of a building or when there is like a tree or something. So you never really get lost. You're pretty sure you're going in the right direction, like you said, following the sun.
Every couple of nights, I'm going to be doing this instead of resting. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be paying attention as much as I can to the movements of the sky so that I can help give Tobias a little bit more direction as we travel.
Exactly. Awesome.
That's cool.
Yes, that's his Moon Elf ability. It's while you're traveling.
You just called me a Moon Elf. How dare you?
Sorry, Mountain Elf. M's close enough.
Yeah.
So you're Mountain
I like
Elf.
how both races would consider that an insult.
Yes. Probably. Mountain Elf, maybe less so.
No, Moon Elves are pretty chill. Well, we'll see. It's while you're traveling. Often there's not much, but there's rocks on the horizon. The ice flats are not flat, despite they're flat in the grand scheme of things. But there's places where like they've been cracked and they've moved and stuff like that. As you're traveling, you start to get that unsettling feeling as you're going through that. And this is Tobias, of course, because he's a ranger. You start to feel your hair stand on end as you look around. And you actually catch... Perception check, Tobias. Can't be surprised, but can you see?
Yes.
Yes. You're looking around, and you can see in the areas where there's some rocks, and also the ice has kind of like almost grown up against the rocks, you know, and caused these sweeping, almost dune-like patterns, right? And it's not actually been snowing that much because it's summer, which actually, like, everyone, like, people will complain, like, this is a horrible travel. This is the best it could possibly be.
Yeah.
It's summer. This travel is usually a constant blizzard. You see figures that are the hulking, humanoid shape, but much, much larger, broader, built of muscle, with skin that is a sort of grey-black, mottled with pinkish marks and things. You actually see, as you're traveling, when you get that uncanny feeling and you kind of stop the party, that you kind of walked into the middle of two groups of orcs who are kind of using these areas as cover. And you don't really... You know of orcs, but for the most part, people on the mainland, you know of orcs. You know they are monsters. You know they are horrifying. And remember, in Jarviskjir, orcs are much larger than your typical orc. They are literal monsters. Tusked, wearing garb made of leather and pretty much whatever else they can scavenge. And the ones you see, they actually look like they've got some pretty good scavenge. You actually see a little glint of light of a high-quality crossbow. It's kind of shaped, got like a dragon-like design on the front of it, being like propped up on one of these rock areas and then kind of like readying it with hands that are way too big. Although even though it's a heavy crossbow, they're still just too large.
Huh.
And before...
Heavy crossbow that catches my eyes.
You're like the guy who like really likes like guns or cars or something. You're like, oh, whenever there's a heavy crossbow, need to look at it. Why don't we take a quick break before we let arrows fly? Bolts.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes.